We'll start with Garrick.
Ben, do you ever get emotional when you see a four-year player like Tyson playing his last home game on senior night?
Yeah, I was thinking about it yesterday, and how much I'm going to miss him, and just what a security blanket he's been for me. He's been so, reliable and consistent, and tremendous work ethic. You look at his improvement from day one to, you know, where he is now as a player. It's just a tribute to him and his work ethic, and he's a guy that spends countless hours in the off season in the gym. He's what the term gym rat, came from. A guy like him. He's a gym rat. He loves the game, and he'll be playing it and then coaching it, the rest of his life. I'm sure of it. He could not live without the game. That's how much he loves it.
We'll go ahead and get it to
Joel,
Paul.
we're just discussing you and your love for the Atlanta Braves and the fact that you follow every inning.
20 days away from opening day, man. Can't wait.
Coach, obviously another shot at Ole Miss and another opportunity against the 1-3-1 press. What have you looked at? Obviously, you've seen it before, and what have you looked at with that press and ways to beat that?
It's not a press as much as it's just a half-court trapping defense. And I think that we've had a chance now where we'll work down a couple days in preparation. And so I think we'll do a better job attacking it, better idea of what we're doing. But really, when you go back and watch that tape, I thought that was the key factor after the game. As I watched the game again, our defense was horrendous. So we've got to be much better defensively. And I think they're so good offensively. I mean, Ole Miss really executes, and they're playing at a high level. You look at their last few games here, it's been really, really good offensively. Hinson had 19 in the first half against Missouri the other night. And, Tyree. He's one of the best players in the history of Ole Miss and leading scorer in our conference, tremendous player. Their big kid side played great against us the first time offensively. He had 18 points. And they were all, tough, hard baskets. He's a good player. Obviously, Buffin's a key for him, and really has done an excellent job. And Schuler's, their second leading scorer, and he's a tremendous talent and has really had a heck of a year. So they're a very hard team to defend, and we've got to do a good job in that respect.
Go front middle to Logan.
Tyree's had such, played so well against your teams over the last couple of years. How do you try to slow a guy like that down? Because it seems like as he goes, Ole Miss goes.
Yeah, he's just a great player and a guy that I think will be playing this game for a long time to come and be very successful. So we've got some things that we'll try to do a little differently.
When you go back and look at that first game, early in the game, obviously you guys had the lead. What can you take from that opening, 10, 15 minutes of the game where you were in control and bring to Saturday?
Yeah, I thought that when we had the lead the second time towards the end of the first half, it really hurt us. When Abdul got his second foul, there was about 6:30 left, and from that point, our lead dissipated. And I remember going back and looking at that game. We lost by 25, and the plus minus was Abdul when he was in, we were even, and when he was out, we were down 25. So he was, pretty important. But there's a lot of positives we can take from when we had the lead and did a good job, offensively. I thought we, really hurt ourselves with some bad shots that helped them get back in it and cut the lead off that last 3-2 at halftime, and actually won because they took away a point because DJ was on the line for a three that was reviewed and determined that it should be one less point.
I know we've talked about this a lot, being on the bubble and needing wins and all this and that other. But personally, how much scoreboard watching do you do this time of year?
I'm just concerned about us, Paul. That's all we control.
Go ahead and get it to Danny P. over there far left of Coach.
Coach, a few weeks back we asked you about Tyson and his love of the game, and you brought up a story about the game program and his elementary teacher. Could you tell us about that again?
Yeah, we were at LSU. That was the third conference game of the season. And she and her husband, and they were friends of the program. I'm trying to remember who knew them really well. There were people that knew them really well within our program. And I don't know if it was Richard Williams. Like, he was like a manager or your assistant trainer here. He was, her husband. And she told me she had him as a 4-year-old. And 4 and 5 years old. And that he learned how to read and learned numbers from basketball programs. That's all he wanted to deal with. He wanted those Mississippi State basketball programs. This is what he was interested in, and that's how she helped him learn his alphabet, learn to read, learn numerical numbers, and it's just got to be, incredible for people here in Starkville to watch this young man grow up from being born here to going through to being at all his dad's games, being a ball boy for both Mississippi State and for Starkville High School, and to be around the game his whole life and lead a state championship, be the, Gatorade Player of the Year, and it's a tremendous story. And think about him and his father being the only father-son in the history of the SEC to each score 1,000 points. That's special. That's incredible. Right here, Mississippi State.
Staying along those lines with Tyson, he was, I think, in your second recruiting class, and he was part of that class that really helped to turn this program around. When you look at him from a freshman to now, what areas do you think obviously he's progressed in a lot, but what sticks out to you as far as the progression of his game?
I think he's become a better, first of all, he showed up here at 149 pounds dripping wet. So he's gotten a lot stronger and bigger. I think he's become more athletic. I think he's faster. I think he's quicker. I think that his defense has definitely improved, and the understanding the importance of how that relates to winning this level. I think he's got a very high basketball IQ, obviously, his coach's son. I think he's improved as a shooter. I remember when he first got here, and it wasn't a big change, but it was something that was really important that he picks up right away. When he first got here, he'd catch the ball and he'd drop it to wind up to shoot, which almost every high school player I've ever coached has done, because they initially are not strong enough when they're first learning to shoot a jump shot, so they're dropping it to get momentum, to get some oomph in their shot to get off the ground. But he was able to just, now there's no drop. It's just catch with that quick release, which makes it even harder to close to him because it's quicker, and then he's able to shot fake it and read it. I think he's really improved his point guard skills with the ball, and being able to be better coming off ball screens with the ball, playing lower, really being good at reading, change of pace. And you've seen him, where I remember at Missouri last week, really good at reading things and slowing down and then bursting. He's got a great, hesitation and go move where he'll hesitate. You have to respect the jump shot, and he goes by you. I mean, he's improved, and he's a good rebounder, many facets of the game.
We'll go back to Logan.
Final regular season game here at home, senior day against your in-state rival. Do you try to temper those emotions, or you want your team to try to feed off of that?
I think they feed off of it. There's no, trying to make, less of it. It's a big deal. I mean, this is our last home game of the year, and, it's against the team that's most important for us to win against. And, we want to play our best for a lot of reasons.
You're still in play for a double bye in the SEC tournament. I know some of those factors are beyond your control, but how crucial is a double bye in the SEC tournament?
Well, I mean, to only have to win 3 games to win the conference tournament is mathematically a lot more likely than having to win 4.